tomorrow, specifically, is going to mark the third anniversary of the fall of Kabul, following the Biden administration's disastrous and chaotic withdrawal of U.S. forces from Afghanistan. And I've got to tell you, friends, when looking back on that August 3 years ago, I can tell you exactly where I was when it all broke. And for weeks and weeks on end, our office became one of the offices that was on the tip of the spear. And we certainly were not the only one, but we were one of the offices that took this head on. And unfortunately, I can say that many of those who were on the verge of being left behind or killed as the Biden administration abandoned them to the Taliban, the State Department was virtually non-existent. It was members of Congress, like my own staff. We started developing our own underground network and connections, working with anyone and everyone we possibly could. And joining me here in just a moment, Andrew Bunnell, one of those. Before I bring Andrew on, let me just share this. This took place Friday, August 20th, 3 years ago. Our office received this email. It talks about there was a group of 22 Christians. And actually, Andrew had contacted my pastor, who contacted me, and one thing after another started going. But listen to this. This group is in extreme danger. They've had to move locations to evade Taliban door-to-door searches in the last 24 hours. This group is on the evacuation list but cannot safely get to the airport due to the situation outside the gates. They are actively evading a manhunt presently and will be killed when found. And he was, the communications go on and on and on. The next morning, early in the morning, this message comes in that the group has been found. Very sorry to message. This is from Andrew. Sorry to message so early. Just got a call. Group of Taliban from Herat is coming to Kabul for this group. They have been exposed. A relative broke down under torture. They think that they have about 8 to 10 hours. All of them are together in one location, 22 in total. They're 15 minutes from the airport. They just need gate access from the military on site. And here we are. Our job is to try to get that. Folks, and the next response from Jessica on our team is, oh, Lord, we are praying now. We're going to do everything we can. I tell you, I cannot relive 3 years ago without just getting so emotional. This is relive it like it was yesterday. This was but one of so many groups like this. Andrew Bunnell, Christian leader in Georgia, who led so many rescue attempts and successfully underground believers in Afghanistan. Andrew, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, Congressman, thank you. And first of all, it's good to see you again. And I can't believe it's been 3 years since those just tragic days.
Andrew, I can't either. I received these emails today, and I tell you, I just started breaking down. I was so emotional. I relive this as though it's happening live time right now. Andrew, share your story, how you found yourself in a position to help. Talk about the help that you received from those on the ground. Just tell us a little bit of your story with all of this.
Well, I'd love to. This story, like so many stories of this nature, involves an extraordinary group of people that came from all over the world, literally, to do something that just needed to be done. The story itself goes back more than 2 decades, and it involves missionary work across Eastern Europe and Central Asia, and some people who had taken the decision to change their way of thinking about God, about faith, and had become Christians, coming from a different background. And in the course of that decision, some people had gone back to Afghanistan to work and do a number of things to support democracy, freedom of religion and belief, the rights of women, and to express themselves in the way that they wanted to, and did so very successfully for well over a decade. And then during that horrible August 3 years ago, as things began to fall apart, found themselves in extreme danger. And so it really was a case of personal connections, stepping up when there were no other resources available, when there was no other option. And it really was offices like yours that did so much and worked so many hours, like so many others, in charities and businesses and people just working on their own time to find any possible avenue to help these people out.
I can tell you, we found the State Department was of no help. In fact, they were detrimental. They were obstructing so much of the work. What did this represent for you about the power of God to mobilize believers to work together? And we've only got a couple of minutes left here. So, but what did this represent to you?
Well, it's a story of God at work in the nations, and one of the things I think it's hard to see as a believer, as a person of faith in the world that we're in, is that we see things in the terms of tragedy, but God has an extraordinary way of working in darkness and bringing light. And I think this story is a story that continues to give light. And will continue to do so for decades. So many people have found their way to a personal relationship with Jesus Christ through the events of August 2021, and to a moment of truth to see that we cannot always rely on the tools of man, but have to understand that God works differently. I will agree with you. It was tragic how difficult and how unresponsive it was to get anyone at the State Department. And I can't express enough how grateful we are to your office and so many other offices and senatorial offices. I have to mention Cindy Hyde-Smith's office, who was an extraordinary help during that same weekend, working with you, working with her office, and so many others.
Well, and thank you. I mean, when we started hitting the roadblocks, we had to find others. You were one of the first that came about, and working together, developing an underground network there was just unbelievable. We've got just a few seconds. How many would you say have come to Christ through your ministry as a result of this, and just a number?
Well, through ours, quite a few. I think through all of the ministries, it's certainly in the tens of thousands.
Wow. Unbelievable. Thank you, Andrew Bunnell. Incredible story. And thank you for coming on Washington Watch to share a bit about it.